Hey everyone, and welcome. When it comes to mental health, there's just so much information out there, isn't there?
Oh, definitely. It's overwhelming sometimes. Hard to know what actually works.
Exactly.
Okay.
So for this deep dive, we've done the sifting for you. We looked at the research, the studies,
Mm.
to pull out some really practical, science-backed strategies for boosting your mental well-being.
And the key here is practical. These aren't things that require, a huge overhaul of your life or cost a fortune.
Right. Our mission was basically to find those simple, powerful techniques, the real nuggets that research supports and that you can actually use.
Sounds good. Where should we start? How about something for immediate relief, maybe when you're feeling anxious?
Good idea. Let's talk about the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique. Have you used this one?
I have, yeah. It's surprisingly effective. Basically, you just tune into your senses.
Right. So you identify five things you can see around you,
Mm-hmm. Then four things you can physically feel,
three things you can hear,
two things you can smell.
and finally, one thing you can taste. It really helps pull me out of my head when things feel like they're spiraling.
And there's real science behind that. When we're anxious, our brain, specifically the amygdala, that's kind of the fear center, gets really active.
Okay.
This technique, by forcing you to focus on your external senses, helps to, well, it helps to calm that amygdala down.
So it's like sending a signal to your brain saying, hey, you're actually safe right now.
Precisely. You're anchoring yourself in the present moment, not in the anxious thoughts. And it's quick, right? Just a minute or two.
Yeah. Super simple. Okay, so that's great for in-the-moment relief. What about something with more long-term benefits?
Well, how about something as simple as getting some morning sunlight?
Ah, yes, I've heard a lot about this one. Just getting outside in the morning.
Yeah, even just for, say, 10 minutes. Ideally within the first hour or so of waking up.
And why is that so important?
It's fundamental for setting your body's internal clock, your circadian rhythm. That natural light signal basically tells your brain, okay, it's daytime. And that helps regulate all sorts of things, including the production of serotonin, which, is a major mood booster.
And I guess regulating that clock also helps with sleep later on.
Absolutely. Better daytime alertness often leads to better nighttime sleep. It creates this positive cycle.
And it doesn't have to be complicated, like just step outside with your coffee.
Exactly. Or even just open a window wide while you're getting ready. Make it easy.
Yeah.
No need for a special sun lamp or anything.
Keep it simple. I like that. Okay, what's next on our list of simple but powerful hacks?
How about journaling? But specifically, like super short journaling, just 5 minutes?
5 minutes, it almost sounds too easy. But I do remember reading studies, I think maybe from the University of Texas,
Mm-hmm. There's good research on that.
showing real benefits like boosting the immune system and cutting down anxiety just from writing stuff down,
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. What seems to be happening is that you're externalizing your thoughts and feelings, getting them out of your head and onto paper.
like offloading mental clutter.
Exactly. It gives you a bit of distance, helps you process things, stops that endless loop of rumination sometimes.
Makes sense. Do you need specific prompts or...
You can use them if it helps. Simple things like, what am I feeling right now? Or what's stressing me out today? Or even, what are 3 things I'm grateful for?
Ah, that leads nicely into the next one, doesn't it? Gratitude.
It does, and gratitude practice is another area with some really compelling research behind it.
Like the studies from UC Berkeley, right?
Yeah.
Showing lasting positive effects.
Yeah, exactly. Consistently taking time to focus on what you're thankful for seems to actually rewire your brain over time. You start noticing the positives more.
So it's about shifting your focus. It's not about pretending everything's perfect or, toxic positivity.
Not at all. It's about acknowledging the good things, big or small, that are present, even when things are tough. It's about training your attention.
A subtle but powerful shift. Okay, let's move to something we literally carry with us all the time. Our breath.
Yes, controlled breathing, such a direct way to influence our physical state.
There are lots of techniques, but one that comes up a lot is box breathing.
Mm-hmm. It's very popular, apparently used by Navy SEALs, which tells you something about its effectiveness under pressure.
So how does it work for anyone who hasn't tried it?
It's really straightforward. You inhale slowly for a count of 4.
Okay.
Then you hold your breath gently for 4.
Mm-hmm.
Then you exhale slowly for 4.
Right.
And then hold the breath out for 4. And just repeat that cycle.
That's 4-4-4-4 rhythm. And what's happening physiologically when we do that?
You're activating the parasympathetic nervous system. That's the opposite of the fight or flight stress response. It's the rest and digest system.
So it actively calms your body down.
Yes, it lowers heart rate, blood pressure. It's a direct signal to your body to relax. And the best part is you can do it anywhere, anytime. Nobody even needs to know.
That accessibility is key. Okay, shifting gears a bit, let's talk about connection, human connection.
Ah, yes. This was huge. When you look at long-term happiness and well-being, the quality of our relationships is consistently one of the biggest factors.
I think about that long-running Harvard study.
The Harvard study of adult development, yeah. Decades of data.
And it basically found that good relationships keep us happier and healthier,
Right.
more than money or fame.
That's the core finding. And crucially, it's about the quality of those connections, not the sheer number of friends or followers you have.
Right, so depth over breadth.
Exactly. Having people you can truly count on, people you feel genuinely connected to. That seems to be what really matters for long-term well-being.
And that's true even for introverts, right? Well, you don't
Yeah.
need a massive social circle.
Definitely not. Even just a few close, meaningful relationships can provide that essential buffer against stress and contribute significantly to happiness. Quality is key.
Such an important point. Okay, next up, movement. But you make a distinction here. It's not just about hitting the gym hard.
Right. We often think exercise, and that conjures up images of intense workouts, which are great. But the mental health benefits start way before that.
You mean just like moving your body more in general?
Yeah. Light activity, stretching when you wake up, taking a short walk on your lunch break, even just putting on some music and dancing around your kitchen for a few minutes.
Uh-huh. I like that one.
Me too. Any kind of movement can help boost endorphins, those feel-good chemicals, and reduce levels of cortisol, the stress hormone.
So the focus should be less on, I have to exercise, and more on finding ways to move that actually feel good, finding the joy in it.
Precisely. If it feels like a chore, you're less likely to stick with it. Find movement you enjoy. That's the sustainable path.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
Okay, last one on our list, and it feels very relevant to modern life. Limiting dopamine overload.
Yes. This is about managing the constant stimulation we get from, our phones, social media, endless streaming
The
options.
constant barrage, how does that actually affect our brains?
Well, dopamine is the neurotransmitter associated with reward and motivation. When we're constantly hitting it with high stimulation inputs, think endless scrolling, notifications, super sugary foods even, it can it can fry the reward circuits a bit.
Try them. How so?
It can lead to desensitization. Your brain basically needs bigger and bigger hits to feel pleasure, and simple, everyday joys start to feel less rewarding, less appealing.
Okay, that sounds not good. So what's the hack here?
One idea gaining traction is something called dopamine fasting, though the name is a bit dramatic.
Yeah, sounds intense.
It really just means intentionally taking breaks from high stimulation activities, creating pockets of lower stimulation in your day or week.
Can you give some examples?
Sure. It could be as simple as deciding not to check your phone for the first hour after you wake up, or maybe designating one day a week, or even just an afternoon as social media free.
Okay, that sounds more doable.
Turning off notifications you don't really need. Choosing to read a book instead of scrolling before bed. Small things.
And the goal is to kind of reset that reward system.
Exactly. To let your brain recalibrate so it can appreciate simpler, more natural rewards again.
Okay.
To find pleasure in things that aren't hyper-stimulating.
Got it. Okay. Wow, we covered a lot of ground there. Let's do a quick recap of these hacks.
Sounds good.
So we had the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, grounding for anxiety.
Morning sunlight for body clock and mood.
That quick 5-minute journaling for processing.
Gratitude practice for rewiring focus.
Controlled breathing, like box breathing, for immediate calm.
Deep, quality human connection.
Joyful movement, not just intense exercise.
And finally, being mindful of dopamine overload. Maybe trying a little dopamine fasting.
Phew. 8 really solid strategies there.
And remember, you absolutely don't need to try and implement all of these at once. That would probably be counterproductive.
Right. Maybe just pick one or two.
Exactly. Pick one that resonates, seems achievable, and just experiment with it. See how it feels. Small steps, consistently taken, can lead to really big shifts over time.
It's about finding what fits your life and building momentum. That feels much less daunting.
It really is. Think of this as an invitation. Explore these tools. Be curious about what works for you.
Yeah. And if this deep dive sparks some ideas for you, maybe share it with a friend or family member who might find it useful too.
Absolutely. And maybe take a second right now, just reflect. Which one of these felt like something you could maybe try this week? Just noticing that is a great start.
Definitely. Well, thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive today. And seriously, remember to be kind to yourself. through all of this. You're probably doing better than you think.
That's so true. This is a journey, isn't it? There's always more to learn, more ways to support ourselves. Keep exploring.